Wake up, Jacob. Pastor Nobody with Israelite Prepper with another debate recap. The title of this particular debate is called Law or No Law for the Believer. The debate is between ssoreal and Devoted to Yah, or Brother D from Devoted to Yah. It's a pretty long debate, and it's a pretty common debate between Israelites and Christians, and I will endeavor to be very, very fair and unbiased, although I do believe in the Hebrew Israelite way. But it's about the debate, it's about argumentation. Basically, ultimately, who presented the better argument. Okay, so Devoted to Yah, or Brother D, he started off, and he was pretty good. He was actually pretty good. I was concerned a little bit, being brand new, but he did pretty good. He was talking about he was basically establishing the law, obviously going to the Old Testament, and establish it in the New, and saying that we have to be obedient. It was a pretty good opening statement. Brother ssoreal was basically saying that we are not under the Mosaic law or the Mosaic covenant, which that's basically his argumentation there. And again, I'm trying to just be fair and unbiased. So we have them going at it. Then they had a couple of rebuttals to what each other said in each of their opening statements. But it really got pretty good at when they were able to cross-examine each other. Where ssoreal would lose points is in the way he phrased a lot of his questions. The way he phrased his questions, it would seem a little unclear as to what he's asking, what he's saying. It would seem a little unclear. So the way he phrased some of his questions, I wish I can give you some specifics, but I just finished watching it, and I'm walking around here in the result. But I'm doing it as it's fresh on my mind, and I still want to do it justice. But I didn't like the way he phrased a lot of his questions. Brother Devoto was actually clear when he answered the questions. I'm going to include a link to this recap, this debate recap, at the end of it in the description box. But he would answer the questions pretty succinctly. And then when you move towards the Q&A from the audience, he would I guess Brother ssoreal had an exchange with a young lady. He had an exchange with a young lady, and he wouldn't answer her questions. He would answer the questions with questions. And I just think in the debate that you should refrain from that as much as possible. It seems when you answer questions with questions, it can be an effective tool, but it also seems like you're trying to avoid answering the question altogether. Where Brother Devoted went wrong, where there was a problem with him, is he started to get a little emotional. He started to resort to name calling, and we know whether you're right or wrong, when you resort to name calling, it looks unprofessional, to say the least. And the perception is that it subtracts from your argument. And so people don't want to listen to you, or hear what you have to say, or just say that you lost the debate or that you were wrong in your view simply because you got a little passionate. But remember, I'm saying that he shouldn't have gotten passionate. He shouldn't have resorted to name calling. And then he was getting excited and he was saying, you know, I rebuke you, devil, and when the Messiah come back, I'm going to come for you and I will start burning down your churches and things like that. So Brother D was wrong. He loses points in the professionalism department. Brother Ssoreal, the problem with his argumentation is that he isn't always clear, and that's a huge problem. It sounds like a contradiction when he's giving answers, and I don't know if he's aware of it. I don't think he's trying to be deceptive or anything like that. It's just that sometimes it's just not clear. And in one instance, there was a female caller was asking him a series of questions and stuff, because in his argumentation, in Ssoreal's argumentation, he kept saying where in the New Testament where it is said or expressed, you know, keep the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath. And then a young lady on the phone call during the questions from the audience, she was basically trying to bring him back to his argumentation. And she had said, okay, where in the New Testament where it says, you know, you can't commit incest, you know, or sacrifice your children, or, you know, sleep with animals, or things of that nature. And he caught on to what she was asking, and he realized she was using his argument against him, and he still didn't really address that, which it was actually a good argument. That was the fatal flaw in this debate. That was the fatal flaw on Brother Ssoreal's part. Okay, and that is the reason why I'm going to have to give the argument, I'm going to have to give the debate to Brother D, or devoted to Yah, because he was still consistent. Now, he did lose points for getting a little excited and stuff like that, but he was clear in his position. There wasn't very many contradictions in what he said. He answered with scripture. He stayed on topic. So there was some good things there. Brother Ssoreal, on the other hand, sometimes the way he phrased questions was a little unclear. He didn't answer questions directly at times, not all the time. There was plenty of times where he did, but he kind of veered off a little bit there. And I think the fatal flaw was when the caller used his argumentation against him, and he couldn't really refute that. He couldn't really rebuttal that at all. And on top of that, when his opponent was bringing up Matthew 23, 1 through 3, to answer his query or his question about where in the New Testament did the Messiah teach the law of Moses, when you go back to that particular passage of scripture, it clearly answers that question, and he simply wouldn't accept that. Okay, so you go back to Matthew 23 and read verse 1 through 3, it clearly says, do what's written in the law of Moses. So that right there, I think those were kind of the haymakers in this battle. And I think that cost Brother Ssoreal, who normally is very articulate, very well prepared. Obviously, there's other debates that I've listened to him in, and he wins. He wins. But this particular debate, I have to say that he made a couple of missteps, and I think it cost him the battle. So, with that, I'm Pastor Nobody with Israelite Prepper. Until next time, shalom.